All right, welcome to another episode from the Chart Readers. A little behind on viewer request videos, but the really cool thing is I haven't been asking for these in such a long time. But again, I don't care what stock it is, whether it's a penny stock, whether it's a major blue chip, anything in between, an ETF. Look, I am so grateful that people are asking me for my opinion. You know what I mean? So don't hesitate to ask. I'm going to throw four in here today, all right? Three are definitely new to me, and then one I've obviously been talking about on my AI stocks. But I gotta say, I'm liking what I'm seeing here. This thing is close to making some really nice moves. All right, so we'll get into the details shortly. But real quick, what are we gonna do? Same thing we always do, right? We're gonna take a look at the daily and the weekly to see how this thing is setting up short term. Excuse me. We have our 5 moving averages. I will draw some horizontal support and resistance lines, and then when we're done up here, we'll use the MACD, RSI, and volume as our lower indicators. Hey, really quickly, if you can please like this video, subscribe to the channel, share this thing to your friends and all over the internet. Hey, comment good or bad, whatever you can do, it really does help me. But for real, just being here and giving me your time is super appreciated, all right? So look, let's get into it. And again, you hear me talk about this often, right? I am not a very big fan of horizontal clusters, right? We have 1, 2, 3, 4. If I'm not mistaken, look, the 100 just got created. So there are actually no more than these 4. So this is in a cluster of all the lines, right? Couple things I'm for sure seeing, right? Bad things happen under the 8 and the 20. However, this stock knows what to do when it can get over the 8 and the 20, right? It actually knows how to bounce. It knows how to bounce. It knows how to bounce, and then sadly it loses it again, right? So the goal is essentially, look, this is the magic number, right? It is 133. I'll probably set an alert on this for, I think, 134. I think I'd like to be a penny above that. But look, I am not a fan of horizontal clusters. Really, look, it's funny because we're about to look at SOUN, right? So the goal, let me go to Palantir. Actually, Palantir is the better one. The goal is to, go up, right? The bad is when it just, it just doesn't, right? So again, MOB is close. It's really close. And even if it breaks this 133 that I just called out, it hits my 134 alert. The really important thing for real is extra confirmation. Normally, I'm kind of like a 1 day after that's our confirmation, we're go, right? Like, to get out of a moving average cluster really needs extra confirmation. And again, I'm going to say pretty much the exact same thing when I talk about SOUN in a second, right? So, but yeah, this looks good. And again, there's not a lot of history. And I like the fact that this thing was actually able to ride up for 3 months, right? From January to March on 2 months or whatever, right? But all of January, all of February, riding the 8 and the 20 like a beast, breaking moving averages like a beast. Like, if you can do it again, hell yeah. Otherwise, I really wouldn't be surprised if it gets spit out, right? I would for sure, I would probably look, I'm not in right now, right? So I would at least say this is a very scary line to lose, 118, because I'm seeing it's the bottom of this guy. It was the bottom of that one, right? Like, I'm not sure if it was the bottom. It wasn't, but yeah, 118 hits a couple different places, right? It also hits the bottom of this and this. So I'd be really worried under 118 for sure. Obviously, that's a even worse one to lose, right? But I think if you lose 118, you might come down to 108 really quickly. But this thing's a couple days away, and really the safest money line would be 142. And you can see that's pretty much where we wick today, right? But yeah, excuse me, if we can get over the biggest candle to the left, that is this thing right here, red, green. Hopefully that means green, right? So I think 140, 141 would be the safest entry, for lack of words. Not that anything's safe, right? But yeah, 134 would get me interested. And again, I think 140, 141, 142, that's where we're going to start talking about really good confirmation, right? Or maybe that good confirmation is a little closer to this 150 line, top of this guy or top of this guy, right? But again, I'm liking it. I am, right? Like, our MACD doesn't look bad. RSI doesn't look bad. Clearly, there was a weird volume thing, right? But Yeah, I'm curious to see if volume will hold. I mean, it's had some moments where it got in the big millions, but yeah, it's definitely used to being down here and very insignificant, right? So MOB, I'm interested. I definitely just need a little bit more before I'm ready to throw down, right? All right. Oh, Soundhound. All right, baby. Let's take a look at Soundhound. All right. First and foremost, I was so proud for someone to call out good confirmation on Thursday. All right. And look, on any normal setup, this for real would be a good confirmation for sure. However, I keep saying it, when we're in a moving average cluster, especially one that has all five, I need extra. You know what I mean? Because again, this is a good one to use Palantir with. Palantir had a few moments of really good confirmation on most setups, only to fall back under and die until it was earnings that did it, right? So again, look, there are a couple important earnings coming up. AI itself, the C3 AI stock has earnings, I think, next week or on the 31st, something like that. So look, there are things that are still happening, but I like this. All right, I do, because we got over an important line. Doesn't quite look like we got over this candle. I think we got over this one, right? What day did this close at? This closed at 3:15. We're at 3:15. All right. I mean, look, again, we're just give me one more day, right? Like I need a little bit more, but look, we have now been in a positive MACD for a bit. Divergence, baby, just the two lines going away is good. 70, we're at 69. It's not the highest it could be. I wish it was a little lower because that would help me believe. But again, just let's go back to Palantir real quick. Once it made the move, it also lived up in a high RSI, right? So there's still some things I'm willing to bend the rules on a little bit, right? And volume is looking good, right? Actually, all these green days are pretty much progressively getting better, right? So I very much like that. But end of the day, make me believe we've broken these moving averages, all right? Make me believe that, and then, yeah, we're basically going to come to... I don't know which one's going to stop it, if it's going to be this one or this one. Maybe it actually would be 379 only because like I said, RSI is just a little high. But hey, look, it wasn't that. It was actually only a couple months ago that this thing lived in the 80s for quite a bit, actually. So that also does have me. And again, look, if we can get over these lines, the next one up is 780. And I know someone shared recently on Twitter, and I very much appreciate you sharing it on Twitter, for sure. But I'm not talking about $8 yet. We're not even at $4 yet. How are we going to talk about $8, right? I'm a big fan of let's set the expectations realistic. But again, just going from 3 something to high 4s, that's a little more than 33%, just ballpark rough math, right? So I'm liking what I'm seeing, I'm telling you, right? So give me confirmation, give me a belief that we've gotten over this. Because look, what's going to happen is this thing's going to need to cool down, right? And the last thing I want is the cool down to come back into it. I want this thing to go. I want these lines to separate. And when I come back down, I hit the 8 and I take off, right? That's my goal. So we'll watch this, obviously, when I do my normal AI stock review, but I thought it was worth taking a look at this one. LSDI. I was watching this one. I'll be really honest with you. I don't remember exactly what I said this needed to close over. I'm sure my first thing was at least, look, don't lose the 8 moving average. Oh, since this is 108, the number was 118. I remember saying 118 if I'm not mistaken, right? But look, I'll take this candle. That's a really good candle, and basically, I would love to gap this if you really want to know the truth. I would love to open around 120, 121 and then keep going up, right? Like, I don't want something like this where I gap up here and then close down here. Yeah, that's a green candle, but that's a really horrible candle, right? Again, we open at 135. You can see it in the box over there. Open 135 and come all the way down. Dude, that's almost... Is that a 20% loss? That's almost a 20%. A 20 is a little too much. But yeah, that's horrible, right? So I'm telling you, I'm cool with the gap up to 121 at the open, and then let's go up and let's hold it to at least 127. Obviously, anything better than 127 would be great, right? But if this thing can, if this thing can hold 127, that's when we're getting hot, because this is essentially the money line for me. If this thing gets to 140 and breaks 140, oh my goodness, baby, for real. Because there's only one candle, maybe two candles. Otherwise, it's just from here, right? It's just red, 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 green, 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 green. So again, I'm not going to be talking about $4 or $3 just yet. 140 is the money line. 120, 121 is the expectation, must minimum at least. But really, we got to close at 126. I think closing at 126 is going to be this thing's best shot to go up, because otherwise it's going to be really hard to get over these two lines. All right. And I'm a little sad that we didn't do that 118 that I asked for, because again, I would have loved to at least chop down one of the two versus try to face both tomorrow, right? But yeah, neither of these is great, neither is bad. Obviously, we had a big volume up and a horrible volume down. I'm still glad it looks like we're over the 50, right? We're at least on it, right? Volume was 1.1, 50 average was 1.12, right? So, yeah, tomorrow's going to be really important. I think tomorrow might say if we're going to come to the 8 moving average at 108 or this 120, 126 number that I'm calling. But this is an interesting ticker, I will be honest. And, it's funny. I don't know where I want to set my alert. I think I'm going to set it at 121. I'm really afraid of getting faked out, though. I can see this. I don't know if it's going to gap up and go down like it did here, or if it's going to gap up and go up, right? But I'm interested. I can't say I'm not. Okay. KWE. This is the last one on this video. And look, the first thing I started with is kind of the same thing I'm saying on the other one. Look, there's a lot of interesting things happening here, right? It looks like this thing wants to break all the moving averages. The 100 just got created, so there isn't even a 200. But look at this volume, right? Like beyond, this isn't even hitting 100K. This has to be one of the worst minute charts if I had to guess, right? Look at this thing. This whole day, there was barely any movement, right? So I'm not here telling you don't buy. Oh man, I can see why the interest is here. Look, end of the day, all right, if this thing gets over 363, there is no place better than to have your money in all-time highs. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing. This MACD slip has me a little worried. That RSI slip has me a little worried. And I mean, look, we definitely rode the 8 up. We've now hit the 20. It's really important that we bounce up, okay? Again, technicals mean a lot less on these kind of stocks, especially when the volume is this low. But, this is where I'm expecting us to either bounce up from the 20 and hopefully come around halfway at least, right? Hopefully this 293, maybe 295. Otherwise, we're going to lose the 20 and we're going to fall all the way down to about 267. All right. So, but again, break 363 and yeah, all-time highs are all-time highs for everyone. You know what I mean? So I get the interest here. Again, it's just a lot of it's the volume. And hey, it's had its moments, right? It's had its moments, but let's just be realistic about today. You know what I mean? So, hey, I'm trying to make sure I got all the viewer requests. I appreciate your time. Thank you. Thank you.